Hey, Facebook. Thank you so much for joining our Facebook Live session, our coffee break session. My name is Bobby Robinson, and I'm the founder and managing attorney of the Robinson Law Group. So I hope you have your coffee or your tea. I have mine like a boss. Don't be jealous of my mug. Target has you. We'll give it a couple seconds for some folks to jump on. But while we do that, I just wanted to quickly let you know that one of the reasons why we started doing this series is because we're very passionate about entrepreneurship. Everyone in my firm is an entrepreneur and embodies that. But more importantly, hey Andrea, how are you? Thanks for joining. But more importantly, we want to also support entrepreneurs and provide them with information to which that they can overcome some of the common hurdles of entrepreneurship. Thirdly, is we wanted this platform to serve as a community to which that we can all share best practices, right? So that's one of the reasons why we started this coffee series. So this is the first session. Please feel free to share and like this video. We certainly want to be able to support and help as many people as possible, particularly entrepreneurs. So for those that are unfamiliar with the Robinson Law Group, we are a modern business and intellectual property law firm with offices in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Atlanta, Georgia. And our value proposition is very simple. We help businesses, regardless of your size, to make sure that you have the right legal foundation to ensure that you are poised for growth. So what does that mean? We make sure, whether it be business consulting, strategy, agreements, formation, or intellectual property in terms of trademarks and copyrights, we have you. That's what we do. So thank you so much for joining. Again, feel free to drop your name, comments, let me know where you're viewing from. Love to chat with you further. So today's session is all about how do you grow your business from the perspective of working on it and not in it. If you just joined, please feel free to drop your name, comment, love to chat with you as it relates to this video. So when we talk about working on your business, what does that actually mean, right? That terminology is fairly new, so I hope we want to be able to add value. Hey, Cynthia, good. Thank you so much for joining. So we want to be able to provide some context in terms of what does that actually mean. So when you think about working on your business, think about it from the perspective of you are operating in executive mode, right? So you are strategizing, you're planning. Hi, Connie, thanks for joining. You are planning, you're strategizing, you're networking. That's what it means when you're working on your business. You're meeting with your professionals, such as your financial advisor, your CPA, and your attorney, right? You got to meet with your attorney. All of the folks who are going to help you take your business to the next level. On the flip side of that, when you are working in your business, think of it from the perspective of you're working in a managerial role, right? So you are truly doing the day-to-day work of your organization. So you're the janitor, you're the CPA, you're the receptionist, you're fulfilling all the orders, and on top of all of that, you're still doing client work, right? And so it's critically important to make that distinction. But I also want to preface that, you know, when you first start your company, you're going to always, or at least in the beginning, you're going to start working in your business because you don't have the resources to hire folks, right? You don't have the funds to bring someone on immediately. But when you start to gain some traction and folks start to purchase your products and you notice that your business is starting to grow, you then need to start spending more time working on your business than in your business. So I hope that makes sense, because a lot of, entrepreneurs want to grow the business, but they don't really know how. So I'm hoping to provide some really useful tips for you guys. If you're just joining, please feel free to drop your comments, names in the comment box. Love to chat with you throughout this process. And so one of the things that I'm hoping that you guys get out of this is learning that you can grow your business without being involved in it day to day. So, what are some of the tips? And I hope you got your pen and pencil ready. Hey, Nicole, thank you so much for joining. Hey, Connie. So very first tip. Hope you got your pen, Connie. I got the mug for you, like a boss. Got the coffee mug. So the very first tip to learning how to grow your business from the perspective of working on it and not in it is it starts with you, right? You are the visionary. You are the person that sets the tone within that organization. And so you, right, Nicole. I'll slow down. I'll get everybody get your pen, your paper ready, and make sure you're ready to take some notes. So I'm going to drop some very good nuggets for you so that you can grow your organization. So Nicole, I'll give you a couple minutes, but the first tip is you, right? And there are a couple of things you need to be aware of, right? First, you need to have the desire to want to grow your organization, right? Growth is very subjective, very similar to success. What I contend to be successful or growth may differ from what you guys think it to be. So my vision for my law firm is to be the largest minority law firm in the Southeast, right? So that's my vision. But someone else may say, I just want to open a second location. That's their vision of growth. So you got to have the desire. You also have to have the vision. More importantly, you got to have the awareness, right? You got to have the awareness of, now that my business is starting to grow, I need to change the manner in which I do business. And that also means I have to get some other folks to help me be successful, right? That's critically important. And so what is that? And I think, I'm gonna put a pin in there, because that the awareness piece, I think a lot of entrepreneurs are slow to recognize. And so the awareness thing can happen in two ways. You have an organization that scales too fast, meaning you grow too fast and you don't have the infrastructure to accommodate the growth, right? And so what ends up happening is, for example, if you have a sales organization and you're bringing in a lot of sales, whatever widgets you're selling, and folks are actually calling in, but you only have a one-line phone, right? You weren't ready for the growth, or your website cannot withstand that level of commerce, right? You have yet to truly accommodate the growth. And what ends up happening adversely, clients become dissatisfied. They end up going to someone else, right, who probably listened to this video, to make sure that you fully accommodated the growth, right? But it takes a level of awareness. Or the flip side is, you had some intentional growth, or it's been organic, but you've just failed to catch up, right? You're so bogged down in the business that you haven't really fully understood what's actually happening around you, right? So that's critically important. So it starts with you. The other thing is, you gotta plan, right? You have to plan if you intend to grow intentionally, right? And what I mean by that is, you literally have to block out time in your schedule to say, today I am going to this networking event. Today I am going to strategize with my social media folks, right? Today I'm going to do some community service. Whatever it is, you have to plan for it. So for example, for me, I don't do client work every single day. I don't. I do client work 3 to 4 days a week. I see new clients on Friday and Saturday morning, and then Thursday is my planning day, right? I have to be intentional if I intend to grow this firm, right? Because if I'm doing client work every day, I don't have time to do these sorts of activities, Facebook Live, engage with our followers, because of that very reason, right? So you got to plan. And I think one of the things that entrepreneurs tend to also miss is that every minute you are doing a job or a task that someone else is capable and able to do, you are not actually running your business, right? You are not running your business. A lot of entrepreneurs will say to me, well, Bobby, I'm in operations, right? Does that mean I'm running my business? No. Operations is a component of your organization. What about HR? What about finance? What about IT? Right? What about all of those other things, social media? You can't wholly depend upon, well, I'm just doing operations. Now, yes, that may be true if that's your strong suit, and we'll talk about that. If that's your strong suit, yeah, but you can't wholly say that I'm actually running my business per se because I'm doing operations. So that's the first thing. So if you want to create an enterprise, a multi-million-dollar enterprise, it starts with you. You got to have the desire, you got to have the vision, you got to have the awareness, and you got to plan. That's the first tip. That's the first tip. It starts with you. The second tip is you got to have systems, procedures, and other planning tools. That's tip number 2. You got to have systems, procedures, and planning tools. And what that essentially intends to accomplish is you got to have the infrastructure. Remember, I talked about earlier about being able to accommodate the growth. As you grow, you got to have the infrastructure to withstand the growth, right? And so a lot of entrepreneurs try to cut corners around this, but you can't, right? So systems are critical because systems indicate consistency. You want consistency. If you have a good system, you'll be able to deliver consistency, right? The second thing with that, you want procedures. How will things actually operate within my organization? How will it operate? Thirdly, technology. Think about technology in a way. How can I leverage technology to make sure that my organization is efficient, right? Some people are adverse to technology, depending on generational gaps, but I think technology is certainly appropriate within your organization, right? So it's critical, and thank you, Takora. Thanks for joining also. Another dynamic attorney, Takora Davis, rather. Thank you, Takora, for joining. So you got to have technology, right? Because here's the thing about systems too. They help you measure your success, right? If you don't have systems, you can't measure your growth plan. How do you grow if you can't accommodate or necessarily measure the growth? But then it also helps you troubleshoot issues, right? So when you think about systems, they help you identify, hey, there's a problem, right? And I need to deal with it. Without those systems, you don't have that information. You can't make those decisions. Now, also don't mistake the fact that you have to have everything perfect, because you won't, right? You won't have every system in order. You won't have every technology platform in order. You won't have everything in order, and it never will be. But you got to have a way in which that you can implement what you can implement. And as your business grows, so too does your system, so too does your procedures and your technology, right? So that's that. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is hiring. So once you've established your systems, now let's think about hiring the right people. And that does not include your family and friends. I'll do another video on that one, but it does not include your family and friends, particularly if they haven't earned a seat at the table, because nothing's given, everything is earned, right? Because we found that family members tend to feel entitled. And so you have a business to run, you have expectations, and people feel entitled, right? So they got to earn a seat at the table. So I'll get off my soapbox on that one. I'll get off my soapbox on that one. But so make sure you're also clear on your hiring procedures, right? Hiring procedures. What's your hiring process look like? What's your termination process look like? What's your orientation, right? And I'm a huge proponent of orientations, particularly when You know, I've invested a tremendous amount of time in building this brand and building this company, and then someone comes along and sabotages that, right? Or you don't orient your folks to which that when they go out into the community, they are a representation of your brand, right? So it's critically important that you have an orientation so that folks are fully aware of your brand and your standards and your values. Otherwise, everything that you have earned and have worked so hard to achieve can be swindled very quickly with a few bad hires, right? And it's really important that you do that. But more importantly is make sure that your hiring practices are legally compliant. This is one of the top 5 litigated areas for small business is employment law. Employment law. So please make sure that you have an employment lawyer, look at your policies and procedures just to make sure that they are legally compliant. So that's tip number 3. So just real quick recap. Tip number 1 is it starts with you, right? You got to make sure that you have the desire, the vision, and the awareness along with the planning time to grow your business. You got to have good systems, and then you got to hire right. So the 4th one is once you've hired the right folks, you got to train them, right? You can't just throw them in the fire. You got to train them. And if training isn't your skill set, hire a professional to do the training, right? Hire the professional to do the training. If your organization is sales dependent and you're not good at sales, I don't think you should be the one training them, right? So make sure that your folks are trained properly. Because here's the deal: when you throw them in the fire and they mess up a customer order, they're rude to clients, all of that is an impact and a reflection on you as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, not them. They don't have to live with it, because if you terminate them, they'll go on and you're left to pick up the pieces, right? So you want to make sure that your folks are properly trained. And again, it all comes down to making sure you have the right procedures as well, right? What are you training them on, right? What are you training them on? So that's tip number 4. Drum roll. There's only 5 tips, so this is the last tip. Tip number 5 is a tough one. It's a tough one, particularly for us entrepreneurs, and it's delegation. Delegation is tip number 5. It's tough because we all went into entrepreneurship because we wanted to determine when we work, how we work, what time we showed up to work. That's why we wanted that freedom. That's why we went into entrepreneurship. But here's the deal. If you want to grow, you have to let some things go. I'm going to say that again. I thought that was pretty catchy. If you want to grow, you have to let some things go. And you let some things go by delegating. You have to delegate. And here's the deal. One of the things that I learned about entrepreneurship, you have to play to your strengths. You have to be honest with yourself and play to your strengths. If you're not strong about something, a particular task, then you have to delegate it to someone that is, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to build an organization that can sustain and grow without you being involved in every single aspect of the business. So, right, it's just like saying again, you want to make money in your sleep. Well, if you want to make money in your so quick recap. First tip is it starts with you, right? If you want to grow your business by working on it and not in it, it starts with you. The second tip is you got to have great systems, great procedure policies. The third tip is you got to hire right. You got to hire the right folks to do the job. And then once you've identified those folks, you got to train them, right? You got to train them, make sure that they're doing the job in a way that you would be pleased with. And I'll also say, you can't be too nitpicky in that, well, I would have done it better, right? Or I wouldn't have done it that way. That very well may be true, but substantively, you just got to accept the fact that we're going to get things done differently. And as long as the client's happy, it meets your standards, the job got done in a way that worked, then we're going to continue to move forward. And then, so you're going to train them. And then last, delegate. So those are the top 5 tips. There are a tremendous amount of other resources and tips out there, but those are the 5 that I thought that were most relevant to growing your business by working on it and not in it. So if you expect to grow your business, you got to spend more time working on it and not in it. So I hope that you guys found this video very helpful. It has been edifying to me and my clients, so I thought I'd share it as well. If you have any questions in regards to anything that I just described on this video, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll continue to monitor the comments. Those that are watching it on replay, don't hesitate to comment. I'll be happy to respond. If you want to email me directly, I'll put my email up on the screen here so that you can reach out to me, and I'll be happy to respond. And 1 second, let me get that up. All right, you're welcome, Connie. Thank you so much for attending. So there's my email. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to have that discussion with you in terms of how to get you from working in your business as much and working on your business. So again, I hope you guys found this video very useful. Please share it with your colleagues, your friends, and until next time, we will see you at the next RLG Coffee Break session. Don't forget your mug. Don't forget your pen and paper. All right, take care. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.